Before we get these next birds up in the air, I want to call another friend of mine over here.
Nice. Courtney.
It's not you. What are you doing coming over here? Just kidding. This is Courtney Puckett. She is our, I guess, connection to the Norton Children's Hospital that helped us put this show on. I'm going to let her talk to you just a minute about exactly what this show is all about, what goes on with the transportation unit. So Courtney, take it away.
Thank you, Johnny. Hi, everybody. My name is Courtney Puckett. I work for the Children's Hospital Foundation. And I first want to say thank you so much to the River City radio controllers, all of our volunteers, our sponsors, especially the IPA Foundation, and everybody that's here today. I know it doesn't feel like you guys are giving back to the hospital right now, but you definitely are. Paying to get in, paying for food, getting those raffle tickets, all of that is going to go back to the Children's Hospital Foundation to support the Just for Kids transport team. That team makes about 2,000 trips a year. So we treat about 2,000 patients with that team. There's no distance that's too far, so they have flown as far as California to make sure that families get back to Kentucky so that they are treated where their friends and families are. We thank you guys for being here. We're very grateful to see you guys here on this beautiful day. And please feel free to stop by the Just for Kids transport team or the Children's Hospital Foundation tent to learn more. Thank you again.
Thank you, Courtney. How about a big hand for Courtney and everybody else at the hospital? She works hard with us all year long, and she's amazing at what she does. Thank you. Is it World War I time again?
I think it is World War I time again.
World War I time. Hang on here, folks.
You know what, Johnny? You can walk away. I wouldn't either. Johnny, candy dropped after World War I. You got World War I.
Just to let you know what kind of guy my buddy over here, John, is, I just told him, asked him if he could hang on a minute because I was going to go grab something to eat. He told me I could leave and he wouldn't know it anyway, so that's the kind of guy he is, but I'll be back shortly. In about another 20 minutes or so, we're going to do another candy drop. So when these are World War II guys. In about 10 minutes actually. So when these planes start to land, or if the kiddos want to go now, head down here between these two tents again, and we're going to do another candy drop. So all the kiddos, if you want to, head down that way, get you a plastic bag, and we're going to fly over the whole way and drop some candy and let you guys go get it. Kiddos that are 12 years and younger, please. And parents, if you want to go with them, we do kind of encourage that, especially the little kiddos. Not necessarily the bigger kids, but the little kiddos. Please go with them. Thanks.
Johnny, can you bring me back a Gatorade? Sure. Orange.
So we're lining up for the World War I gaggle. We called it the Dawn Patrol. The problem is that it ain't dawn, it's high noon, early afternoon, so we're going to call this the World War I gaggle. So what they did back in World War I was they would take the airplanes. Let me start all over again. So 10 years after man's first flight, the Wright brothers flew, World War I broke out, somewhere around 10 years. And the airplanes were very, very basic. And it was just the dawn of aviation whenever that conflict came out. And what they did was they learned, or they knew at that point, that these airplanes were very basic, very lightweight. They were covered in fabric, seconite, or actually it was linen at that time. And the airplanes were very fragile. They weren't like a World War II airplane, which was heavy, made out of metal. So you flew the airplanes primarily at dawn, early in the morning, or later in the evening. The airfields were what they called aerodromes. An aerodrome is circular field cut out of the forest, large enough to be able to take off and land in any direction. Why? Because these airplanes, as you see here, had some challenge with directional stability or control on the ground. They didn't have brakes, they didn't have tail wheels, so they were actually hand pushed out to the takeoff area. And then they advanced the throttle on the engine, which pretty much the engine was either on or off. And they were able to take off and land into the wind. So they had several different types of airplanes, and even from the beginning of World War I to the end of World War I, airplanes did advance quite a bit. At the beginning of the war, Fokker built the DR-1, which is the red tri-wing airplane that's out here. That's the Snoopy and the Red Baron airplane. Why do they have 3 wings? Well, they figured design convention of the day was these airplanes needed 2 wings, so they that's a biplane. They liked the construction. It was lightweight, it was rigid, it was strong, so to speak, because they could wire brace between the 2 wings. But they didn't have a lot of engine power, so what Fokker Aircraft did was they said, well, let's try 3 wings, more lift, tighter turns, and then DR-1 was born. On the other side of the English Channel, they developed the Sopwith Pup. That would be the British, which is the white plane coming through here. All of these airplanes were powered by what we call rotary engines. It's not radial, but they were rotary. They were single row, multiple cylinder engines. What they did was they mounted the engine to the firewall in such a way that it would spin with the propeller. And what that did was it provided extra cooling to the engine when sitting on the ground and also when at idle and then also when flying. The airplane that's coming through right now, this is the Eindecker. The Eindecker was revolutionary for its time because it was a mono-wing airplane. They were able to develop enough power out of the engines and develop building technique or construction techniques to start building a single-wing airplane. It still had external wire bracing in it. The airplane was revolutionary for the war because the airplane was much faster than the Sopwith Pup or the Sopwith Camel and other Allied fighters. It came towards the end of World War World War I, and certainly gave the Germans a boost in the air battle. The yellow airplane that's flying up here, that is a Curtiss Jetty. The Americans did not directly enter into World War I, but we had pilots flying for the French and English during the war. And we did have a training corps here in the United States. So that's why you see the brightly yellow colored airplane, because that's what they use for training. It enabled the instructors on the ground to better see the students. Also to be able to go out and find them if something were to happen. Art Shelton's down with his Eindecker. Jim Schroeder's landing his training Curtis Jenny. I tell you what, that was a beautiful landing, Jim. Okay, so my good friend Steve Eagle, he's flying the Fokker triplane. Now what's interesting about the triplane is it flies good. Takeoff and landing is definitely a handful. Hey, the pup is down, Steve, outside of the aerodrome. All right, we'll get Steve Eagle down here with the triplane. All right, it doesn't get any better than that. The little do-si-do, they did that on the full-scale airplane too. A lot of times these guys landed and ended up what you see across the runway there with that pup. So we're gonna get that retrieved. In the meantime,